from Gates Pass, Tucson, Arizona.
Welcome to the GCN Show!
Welcome to the GCN Show, brought to you by Wiggle.
This week we discuss whether there's a place in cycling for e-racing. I mean, do we need it? Is it even cycling?
We've also got Christmas trees, the best winter riding excuse ever, and Salbutamol.
Yeah, and Peter Sagan, and stairs. Lots of stairs.
This week in the world of cycling, we learned that it wasn't just Emma getting to grips with the world of cyclocross. Here are some of the cream of French professional cyclists faring even worse.
Oh!
Good job he's got brown shorts on, isn't it, Christophe Riblon?
It is, yeah. Whoa! Oh, takedown. Finding out there that a wet berm is just one of the big problems with riding off-road.
That's not a wet berm. This is a wet berm.
Mountain bikers.
Well, that is a wet berm, isn't it? Speaking of mountain bikers, Peter Sagan's been up to his old tricks again. In the very same week that he announced he would like to return to mountain biking within 2 years, he decided to once again remind us of his skills on his team's first training camp.
Impressive as that is, Dan, it's not exactly dramatic, is it?
No.
I mean, you'd be better off with a stair lift.
You'd be faster with the stair lift.
Yeah,
Let's put that to one side for the time being. All right, before we get on to our main story, we've actually got one of our own, haven't we? One that we are very excited about.
We have indeed. We, GCN, are hosting our first ever event. 4 days of riding in the cycling paradise of Mallorca at the end of March. Amazing.
There's a bit of bad news. We're going to be there, aren't we?
Yeah,
we requested
we are.
if we could go along.
Yeah, 4 days in Mallorca.
Yes.
Boo. Now, this is open to all abilities, so there'll be loads of different ride levels on offer. Everything from easy spinning Cafe Pro to, Pro, I guess. And fun is absolutely the aim of the game here. So both on the bikes and off the bikes of an afternoon, we'll have loads of activities going on, like workshops and seminars and Q&As. And then in the evening...
Lloydie's first ever pub quiz.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait for that. And also
Yeah.
the GCN Show live.
Yeah.
Which we are a bit nervous about,
Yeah,
aren't
we
we?
are,
Firstly, you don't really want to see what this looks like in real life. And
No.
secondly, we'll probably have to present in something other than budgie smugglers under the
Well, I
desk.
know. I'm not even sure I can do the GCN show wearing trousers, mate. Yeah. Now, before you say, "Well, I remember Sockgate. This is going to be a disaster," please don't worry. We're not actually organising anything here. We've been joined by a guy called James, who is amazingly good at organising this kind of thing. So yeah, it's a big relief for all of us.
It is.
Basically.
If you would like some more information on our first event and maybe even to sign up for it, all you need to do is go over to our new website, which is GCNEvents.co. And as a reminder, this includes all types of cyclists. There's going to be no elitist type of thing here. So if you'd like to come over and go out riding in Mobistar kit,
You can.
You can, yes.
Yeah, if you want to ride with a top tube bag,
You can. And if you'd like to go out riding without any socks on,
If you really want to, yeah.
go on, you can come along as well.
Yeah.
Right, we hope you will do too. Should we go on to our main story for the GCN show today?
Yes.
There was a bit of
yes.
controversy, mainly on social media last week, when it emerged that British Cycling have signed a 2-year deal to partner up with Zwift.
That's right. The controversy seemed to stem from the fact that people felt like British Cycling shouldn't be organising a new event when there was no Junior Women's National Championship time trial event. And also, some controversy seemed to come from the fact that the much coveted, in certain situations, red, white and blue striped jersey of a national champion is indeed up for grabs with this new e-racing format.
Although part of that problem is that former national champions do tend to get quite whingy, don't they, about their stripes?
Yeah,
hard-earned stripes.
They do. And the fact is, the Dutch National Federation organised a Zwift National Championships earlier this year, and no controversy seemed to reach our ears, prolific Dutch speakers as we are.
Yeah, aren't we? Prost, schmackelijk. Two of the only
Yep.
words that I know in Dutch. Right, well, whether you like it or not, it does seem like esports are going to be a thing. In fact, the estimate was that globally, the esports industry was worth in the region of $500 million last year in 2017, and they forecast that to rise to $1.6 billion in 2020. Although, admittedly, that focuses around the popular games such as FIFA, Fortnite, and Overwatch.
You definitely just looked that up, didn't you?
Only one of them, actually. I've got a teenage son. Anyway, it seems as though cycling is now getting on the act, and it's going to be different because those games really only give your thumbs a good workout. The question is, though, is e-racing legitimate, and do we really need it?
I'm not sure it's about need, is it? It's more a case of, well, why not? I mean, it's super easy to organise an event, unlike in the real world, and then it's also super easy to do an event. I mean, it's pretty much the only form of competitive cycling I've got at the moment. Certainly the only bike race I've ever taken a delivery from a supermarket in my house 5 minutes before the start line.
Is that a good thing?
Well, not necessarily a good thing, but it illustrates my point. You know, it's a legitimate form of competition on a bike, and so I think we should make more of it. There's certainly no reason why you should be trying to make it harder for people to race bikes.
Possibly. I think the other bone of contention amongst purists on road cycles is the fact that you don't need much racecraft, perhaps, to win a race on something like Zwift. And I'm thinking, for example, of descending skills, of positioning in the bunch, of hiding from the wind, or general bike handling skills.
Yeah, speaking of which, should we see how Sagan's getting on?
Oh, yeah. Still going.
Yeah, persistent, that man, isn't he? I do see what people are saying, though, about lack of skill. Certainly from the outside, it looks like maybe it's just a drag race with the winner being decided by the power to weight
A bit
ratio.
like a time trial.
Well, yeah, exactly. But having done a fair bit of Zwift racing myself now, there's definitely quite a lot of skill and quite a lot of racecraft that goes into it as well.
Is there? Is that what you are blaming your lack of Zwift wins on, is it?
Well, yeah, that and a certain lack of strength as well. But no, certainly, I think I could get better without getting any stronger. Definitely.
I guess Kim Little's a bit of an example. He's a Zwift racing legend, isn't
Yeah.
he, Kim? Not too far from here he lives. On the road and on mountain bike, he's blooming good, but he's not a world beater, and I think he'd be okay with us saying that. However, on Zwift, he's nigh on unstoppable on his day.
Yeah.
Isn't he? You can't even get near him.
No, I can't. No, I mean, I suppose it's fair, isn't it? Zwift could be a different cycling discipline. We've already got a gazillion of them. We've got road and BMX, we've got track. I mean, mountain bikes have got cross country and downhill and all the other million other ones. I mean, even on road, we've got people who specialise in criteriums versus stage races and time trialists. I mean, as long as we see e-racing as a separate discipline, then I don't really see what the problem is.
No? Well, to give you an example, at the weekend, a certain Lars Bohm won a European Champions jersey by winning a beach race.
There you go, European beach race champion. Yeah, a jersey for anything these days, can't you?
I think my one stipulation with this would be ensuring that the parameters amongst the different competitors are constant, i.e. making sure that their weight is accurate and also that their power meters are equally accurate too, because then I think you could get a decent champion. But what we haven't answered, Si, is whether or not we think they should be getting the national champions or world champions jerseys.
Wow. Well, maybe we should let the viewers decide. Certainly,
We
please
should.
get involved in the comment section down below. Very interested to hear your thoughts on this one. I think I'm cool with it, as long as it's a virtual jersey and not one that you can wear to the calf. That I think, in the same way that, you know, if you're a mountain bike national champion, you probably shouldn't be riding around on the road in your national kit. Maybe it should be the same with e-racing.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to hear what the viewers think about this. I think it's going to stir more debate, going from social media to the GCN comment section. Let us know what your thoughts are in that comment section down below. Should we see how Pete's getting on? Next up, it's GCN's weekly inspiration. First up, a reminder how you submit your photos for all of the competition. You can either use the uploader, a link to which is in the description below, or you can use the hashtag GCN Inspiration on Instagram. And secondly, a reminder on what you win.
Wow. This is the big one. We have 3 awesome voucher amounts on offer from our mates over at Wiggle. Third place gets £50, second place gets £75, and the grand prize is £100. How cool is that?
Right then, now 3 winners in reverse order this week. In third place, it is Josh with this photo. Taking a quick ride up the aptly named Sunset Boulevard in Redlands, California, and the views didn't disappoint.
They do not, do they?
You're not wrong there.
Wow. I did a bike race in Redlands, California once.
Did you?
Many moons ago. A decade ago.
Oh,
Whoa.
Goodness.
Scary. Anyway, yeah.
No wonder you've never heard of Overwatch.
Right then, second place is from Steve. This was sent in from London, actually, from Richmond Park. He said, on a solo ride at 7 a.m. in the morning, you're never alone. No, you're not. There's a bike rider, but that does look absolutely amazing, doesn't it?
Yeah, looks slippery actually. Hope you weren't careful.
Yeah.
Anyway, well done, Steve. £75 of vouchers on their way to you shortly. The winner this week is also named Josh, but a different user ID on the uploader, so we presume it's a different person. There is more than one Josh in the world.
Is that right?
This
Thanks
is
for that,
from
Dan.
the Scottish Highlands.
Every day's a school day.
It was well worth braving the biting wind in the Scottish Highlands for that moment when the sun broke through the clouds while we were cycling through the middle of a Christmas tree farm.
Wicked! Christmas tree farm, isn't that amazing?
Yes. I do like that photo.
I do. Yeah, that is very inspiring in British winter.
We've gone for sort of sunset sunrises today, haven't we, for our winners? But all photos will be considered. So
probably due to the fact that we haven't seen the sun in this country.
It was out today,
for over a
mate.
week. Well, I know,
lunchtime.
but we chose this before lunchtime, didn't we? So there we go.
No, we've had some cracking photos through, so make sure you keep sending them in. Opportunity, of course, to win some great Wiggle vouchers.
It's now time for cycling shorts.
Cycling shorts now, and should we check in on Pete?
Oh yes. Still going.
Still going. Mentality of a champion, that man, isn't he? Right, some great news to start with. The reason why you're feeling a little bit slow on the bike at the moment? Air density. That's right. Well, for a lot of us anyway. If you live in the southern hemisphere, I'm afraid you will need a different excuse.
Yes, you will. This is a study that was linked to by Cycling Science on Twitter, and it was done by the cycling coach in France, Fred Grab, which basically sort of tells us what we already know, doesn't it? When the air is warmer, the air density is less, and therefore there's less aerodynamic drag as you try to move yourself forward.
Yeah, now though, thanks to Fred, we know exactly how much, and it's 13%. That's the difference between minus 10 degrees and plus 40 degrees. I don't know about you, Dan, but at minus 10, that's not what I'm worrying about.
No, certainly not. Some people might be worried about how much aero drag is created by carrying a Christmas tree. So,
well, exactly.
You seen this hashtag? Hashtag tree by bike, and it throws up all sorts of pictures of people transporting their Christmas tree home by bike. I think they're going to be questioning the difference in aerodynamic properties between the Nordman fir and the Fraser fir.
I wonder, Dan, where they're looking at some of those photos, it's less about aerodynamic drag and more simply about trying to squeeze your kid in next to a giant Christmas tree.
They do look fun though, don't they, flicking through those photos? I might give that a try myself.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to do it next year. Certainly, we'll put a bit of a different spin on the end-of-year Strava stats, which have just been published for 2018. Among some of your usual favourites, like what the most popular day of the year to ride a bike was.
May the 6th, in case you're wondering.
Yeah, they knew, Dan. Sixth sense. There are some true gems, anyway, such as what the most popular food or drink post-ride is.
Yes, you ready? It's coffee,
Oh!
which is way ahead of beer. And then in third place, we've got cake. Although when you consider the fact that the next three places are occupied by donuts, pastries and cookies, it might be a bit closer than we first thought.
Yeah, that's true. Can we just say at this point, fair play to runners, their most popular post-run beverage was beer, by a long way, yeah. Which I suppose you are doing a bit more running these days.
I'm running to the pub, mate.
Yeah, that would explain a lot. And also, we've got to say a big well done to bike commuters. There's been an increase by 42% in the amount of uploads to Strava that are listed as commutes. And that, they've said, offsets 544,000 tonnes of CO2.
That's a lot of CO2.
Yeah.
Isn't it so? Sticking with expired gases, actually. This time last year, you may well remember that we were becoming experts in the subject of salbutamol.
Yes.
Well, there's been some new research which may prove useful in detecting the wrongdoing in the use of salbutamol after the validity of the previous testing procedure was called into question. primarily by Froome's legal team.
Yes, this would effectively act like a salbutamol passport in much the same way that the biological passport, which looks at a rider's blood values over a whole season and beyond, will give an indication of whether there is any kind of blood doping going on. So fingers crossed it works. Certainly it would be quite interesting, wouldn't it, to see in this context some of the previous salbutamol cases that we have had and have been brought to our attention again and only very recently.
That would be interesting. All right, shall we move on to something a bit different now? We had some great debate and comments underneath last week's show,
Wow,
in
did
which
we just?
we questioned whether we're getting a bit sidetracked with the subject of helmets when, in actual fact, there are far greater issues which affect cycling safety.
Yeah, that's right. And judging by the amount of comments actually about helmets, I'd say that, yeah, we certainly still are getting sidetracked.
First up, we had this from Tobertine. Regardless of academic arguments, if my head hits the curb, I want to be wearing a helmet.
Well, it's hard to argue with that, isn't it, I suppose. Nathan Johnson, he said, seatbelts don't stop people from driving like maniacs, but it does keep a body from being thrown out of the car. Safety equipment is eventually incorporated into the individual's risk calculation. That said, I'm still going to wear a helmet.
And finally, why Stad Cop? I came home fairly tired and emotional one night and in the dark tripped over someone's carelessly discarded helmet and banged my head on the back of the sofa.
Oh, God.
Ban the bloody things, that's what I say. Well, you should have been wearing a helmet, shouldn't you?
Very true, yeah.
Right, before we leave cycling shorts, one more notice for your attention. There is a new initiative aimed at raising awareness of the environmental cost of the way that we approach cycling, called Shift Cycling Culture, are running their first events this coming weekend, starting in Amsterdam on Friday the 4th with a swap meet.
Yeah, the idea being you swap what bike bits you don't need for ones that you do. So the perfect recycling setup, I'd guess. And then followed by that, the next day are clunker rides. Yeah, at venues all across Europe and indeed the wider world. You turn up on your hack bike, you wear your oldest cycling kit, and you remind yourself that you still love riding bikes no matter what you're riding. For Tech of the Week now, we will as ever head over to the workshop to catch up with John and Ollie. Jolly.
Or on.
We are very excited to see a new Kickstarter campaign from our friends at C-Sense, as a few of us here have been using their lights for some time now, and they're crowdfunding for not one but 3 new smart lights, the Beam and the Icon 2, in both front and rear versions that Icon 2 is available in. Now firstly, the Beam front light. This one is a pre-production sample. It kicks out about 700 lumens, but it's the smart tech that really stands out. So features like automatically adjusting between high and low beams when it detects car headlights, reacting to your speed too, so giving you more lumens at a higher speed and less lumens at a slower speed. And personally, I think a feature which is absolutely great is the Get Me Home mode. So when the battery gets below 20%, the beam automatically reduces the output to give you a longer battery life. Now, the Icon 2 light, that's based on the previous model, the Icon, and their front and rear lights. Apparently, they're brighter and smarter than ever before. A bit like Ollie and I, we get smarter as we go on. Now, performance-wise, the front light has 400 lumens and the rear 300. And C-Sense say they are visible for up to 3 kilometers away, which is a long way. Plus, by using the mobile app, you can control how the lights behave in traffic, including a brake light function, which illuminates solidly as you slow down. How cool is that? Now, all lights are USB chargeable and can be fitted in loads of different ways with all types of bikes, which is nice, as sometimes this can be a problematic area. Now, if they take your fancy, you are going to have to be quick, as at the time of filming, there aren't many bundles left on the Kickstarter page. Details of that are in the description below, and join Ollie and I on Thursday for a very special GCN Tech Show where we need you and your vote. It's ultra important. See you on Thursday.
Off the back of that, we've actually got our first giveaway for some time, so a possible 10 of you will be winning C-Sense lights. Not the ones that they are crowdfunding for at the moment, but rather some that they released earlier on this year, called the C-Sense Ace. So we've got 5 sets of C-Sense Ace front and rear lights, and then 5 rear C-Sense Ace lights.
Yep, as you might expect from C-Sense, they are totally feature-packed, as well as being super bright with over 200 degrees of visibility, they say. They also have the smart features in there, like like a motion sensor detector, which will tell the lights when you're approaching a junction, and then it'll change its flash pattern, as well as connecting to your phone. Dan, high fives all round. It'll send you a notification if you're low on battery. Yay! As well as send you a notification if someone's moving your bike without you wanting them to. Yeah, boo. Well, I mean, good that you get a notification. But anyway, if you want to enter that competition, click through. The link to it is in the description beneath this video. Good luck.
Before we start with hack / bodge of the week, quick check back in with Pete.
Wow.
Yep,
still going.
Right, let's
Fair
crack on with
play.
hacks and bodges then. Starting with this from Javier de la Cruz. We are entering the English weather season here in Silicon Valley. I used a lighter to burn holes in this helmet cover to fit my headlamps and keep the moisture on my head restricted to my own sweat.
What a lovely thought. Keeping the moisture on your head restricted to your own sweat. Yeah. I mean, for me, it'd just be a horrible problem of a constant waterfall coming down in front of my eyes. But I guess if you're not quite as sweaty as me, it might work.
Yeah.
Certainly reflective. I applaud that.
Yeah, not bad. Could be more aero, I would say. Looks a bit flappy.
Is it hack or bodge, mate?
We haven't thought this through, have we?
Bodge. Too flappy. Right, next up we've got this from Tom Bianchi. Following coming off on ice last winter, I've now discovered a fairly handy way to adjust the BOA dial on my shoes, stick straight through his overshoes. That's happened to me, Dan, and actually it is a silver lining.
Yeah,
to your
but no
crash.
longer restricting the moisture in his feet to just his sweat. I reckon the rainwater would get in through there. But they pretty much get through any overshoes, don't they?
They do indeed. They do indeed.
Next up, this from...
Sorry, was that hack or bodge?
Oh, hack. Well, no, it's a bodge.
It's bodge,
He
isn't it,
just
'cause he
crashed,
fell
didn't he?
off,
Yeah,
yeah.
bodge, sorry. This from Andreas, his kid's bike. The trainer was really appreciative at home, made use of the old trainer wheels and some wood.
Whoa!
Well, it's got to be a hack, getting a kid riding a bike. He'll be into esports soon, won't he?
Absolutely, yeah, connect that up to Zwift and away you go. Probably win a national championship on that.
Yeah. Well, as long as he's got his tactics dialed, Si. Otherwise, like you, he'll be floundering.
That's right, yeah. He looks like a canny lad. Definitely, he's definitely got what it takes. Right, next up from Luis. He has said he wanted to mount his beam front light to his bike, but he's got the integrated Canyon Aero handlebar on that one, so a standard mount was an option. So instead, he's created an adapter to screw onto his Garmin mount. And you know what?
Yeah.
I think that is cool and a definite hack from me. Yeah.
That looks rather neat, doesn't it?
There's nothing more pleasing, Dan, than a front light mounted centrally on your handlebars. It does my head in having it off to one side.
Does it, Si?
It does, yeah. I'm not normally worried about things like that, but lights on handlebars, I'm like, what?
All right, Si, all right. Moving on to Momo.
Can you knock me at one as well, please, Reece? Because I've got exactly the same mount, so that would be nice.
I'm calling this one a bodge before you've looked at it, Si. It's from Momo. This is Bianchi Ultra XR1. Temporary fix for a broken seat post clamp using some electrical tape, a zip tie, and a garden hose clamp.
Well, that is a definite bodge, but fair play if it
about
works.
Scraping my paint, I think, with that thing.
John wouldn't. He's not a fan of that paint.
Yeah.
To be fair
Put it
though,
all over his bike.
you're blooming lucky you've got an aero seat post, otherwise you'd be all over the shop. There is an advantage, isn't there, to having a non-round seat post?
Yeah, they don't slip so much.
It
do they?
always goes in straight. Yeah, there you go.
Right, next up, Thomas from the San Francisco Bay Area changed the bottom bracket on my crossbike, but didn't have the tools, so I made them.
Ooh, I can hear Calvin from Park Tool wincing.
Copper tubing and a hacksaw for press fit removal tool, a bolt nut and some washers to make the press. Worked perfectly.
Well, yeah, that does look pretty neat. And the punch, the copper tube, I mean, like it does, it looks like it would kind of work.
Well, that's a hack then, isn't it?
Well, it is, but also it feels like a risk, you know? It's a hack it's a danger hack.
Okay, we're in the middle, are we? A back.
A danger hack.
Yeah, well, we couldn't do it, could we? But as we said before, that doesn't make it a hack. If you'd like to continue to contribute to this section of the show, which we absolutely love, should I say, you can use the hashtag GCNHack on social media, or of course you can use our uploader, a link to which is in the description below.
Yeah, and any more pictures of centrally mounted front lights, send them in, because I get an extraordinary amount of pleasure from looking at those.
Caption competition time now. Your weekly chance to win a GCN Camelback water bottle. Last week's photo was this one of Emma doing cyclocross, and we did
Only just at that point.
Yes.
She pretty much stopped doing cyclocross just shortly after.
Yes, I'm sure she did. Winner this week, Tim Peterson. The one time Emma couldn't pull it off.
Hey!
Well done, Tim.
Love
Get in
it,
touch
Tim.
with your address, we'll get this bottle out to you.
Yeah, right then. So what have we got for you this week? It's a picture of Mark Cavendish playing football. Oh yes, this is taken from his Instagram account.
Right, I shall get you started. Everyone, mark up. It's all right, is it? Not too
Well,
bad.
I mean, it's all right, I suppose, this time of year, you know. But still.
Okay,
Well, have a go.
If you can do better, leave your captions in the comment section below. We'll choose our favourite next week.
Before we get on to what is coming up on the channel over the next 7 days, can we take a quick look back to go through some of the comments?
Yeah, we've pulled 4 of our favourites, haven't we?
Oh yes, here we go then. Starting with the ones underneath Dan's "Can you get fit on an e-bike" video, which if you've not seen, I suggest you do because it's absolutely wicked. We've got Fortunate Chance, there we go, got that. My autistic son recently got an e-bike and now likes riding. He can climb hills he would normally stop and walk up. He can now happily cruise along at about 10 to 15 k's an hour. I'm glad you mentioned disability as a reason to get an e-bike. Totally, that's super cool.
There's a
isn't
really
it?
nice comment actually under that e-bike video, which was mainly stressing that they shouldn't be hated because there are certain people who really benefit from an e-bike and actually get in cycling. As our next commenter says, Outdoor West Jayland. I was 115 kilograms and unable to ride to the Bakers and back on a normal bike. That was 3 years ago. He's since then, so I lost so many kilograms. He's down to 72. I couldn't do the maths quick enough there.
Whoa.
43 kilograms I think he's lost. That had never happened without the help of an e-bike. So for me, the answer is clear. Yes, you can get fit on an e-bike. And for those starting out from zero, it might actually be the only option.
Yeah, to be fair, Dan, the thing I took home from that was your little face riding up climbs that you don't really like at the moment. You're having an absolute laugh, weren't you?
Yes.
There's no reason other than the fact that it was fun for you to have an e-bike. Right then, underneath what we want for Christmas, Denning76. Si really does have the ears to pull off that elf costume.
I thought that, yeah.
Thanks,
I
thanks,
agree
Denny.
with you, Denny. And then finally, beneath riding deep section wheels in crosswinds, somebody said, increase rider weight to decrease being blown out. Yet another cycling problem that can be solved with pizza. And
Well, hard to
that's
argue with that.
From Big Stew. That.
Oh, thanks, Big Stew. Yeah, there we go.
Likes his pizza.
Yeah,
Big
right
Stew.
then. What is coming up on the channel over the next 7 days, Dan?
On Wednesday, we are going to tell you how to get the most out of your smart trainer. Thursday, we're going to look at the top 10 most influential people in cycling.
Ooh, GCN's
I
power
haven't seen
list.
that yet. Are we on it? Yeah.
No.
No, I didn't think so. Friday, it's a double header actually. We've got our usual Ask GCN thing. We're also going to look into why you can produce more power when you're riding up climbs versus when you're riding on the flat.
Yeah, we've done mind-bending science here, Dan. So much so that we had to get people in to help us, but like proper science. Saturday, we tell you why cyclists should run. And no, it's not been filmed quickly since those end-of-year
Yeah.
Strava stats came out, and actually that all runs end in
Might
beer.
have to refilm that, mightn't we?
Yeah, we might, just add a little quick bit at the end. Then on Sunday, this is super cool. So look, very kindly sent over not only one of their brand new bells and whistles aero bikes, but also a piece of history. Oh yes, a 1986 Tour de France Look bicycle.
Wow.
Yeah, we went for a ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love a retro versus modern.
Genius.
Then, of course, on Monday, it's back with the GCN Racing News Show, and on Tuesday, back with the GCN Show. Last one before we break up for Christmas, isn't it?
Make it sound like school there. We're getting towards the end of the show now, but we still, of course, have time for Extreme Corner, and this week is bonkers, actually, isn't it? Not only is it a world record for the longest urban downhill, it's also frankly terrifying. Here's Remy Metalier in Medellin, Colombia. Whoa!
2 points, I. Firstly, I think we could get the world record for a longer urban descent.
You mean going slower,
Yes,
walking down
we've gone
it?
a lot slower down there than that. Secondly, he dealt with those steps a lot quicker than Peter Sagan's been dealing with them, hasn't he?
Yeah, should we check it? How is Pete getting on?
I don't know, let's
How's
go back
Pete?
in. Oh, he's taking a bit of a rest.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised. I mean, that has taken him a long time,
Good
hasn't it?
half an hour
Yeah.
so far, isn't it? Oh, he's on his way again.
Yeah, here he goes.
2 to go, 2 to go. Come on, Pete. He's dedicated, isn't he?
Yeah.
Doesn't stop till he gets to the finish line. And
Hey!
well done, Mr. Sagan.
To be fair to him, you know, it's early season, isn't it? I mean, pre-season training, like before Paris-Roubaix, he'd nail that. There's no way he'd need a rest. He'd just be straight up,
Yeah.
wouldn't he? So,
I'll
so
tell you
yeah.
what, he'd win a stair competition, wouldn't he? Anyway, that's all for this week's show. The end of the terrible
Everyone just switched
jokes.
off there, mate.
Yes. Well,
We've
thanks
lost
for
them all.
joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah,
In the meantime,
Yeah.
right, we're going to throw to my video, aren't we?
That's right. If you haven't seen Dan's video about an e-bike and can you get fit on it, do make sure you check that one out.
Some bad jokes there too.
Well, some good ones as well, to be fair, mate.
Cheers.
Couple.